Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Shagun Nawada, your coach for anti-money laundering, transaction monitoring and other risk-related topics. So before we begin today's video, I would like to thank each and everyone who have supported me, who have liked my videos on YouTube, other platforms, and especially on LinkedIn. So thanks so much. I am close to getting 1,000 followers on LinkedIn. I think I'm standing at just about 800. So please recommend my videos and the blogs which I share on LinkedIn with people who are aspiring for AML related roles. So let's begin. So interestingly, today's video is actually based on a question which came to me on WhatsApp, and the question is how to identify drug trafficking in bank accounts. Will you give gifts for good questions and for courses or referred? So I'll repeat that. How to identify drug trafficking in bank accounts? Will you give gifts for good questions and for courses referred? And this question is from P. Chaya, who was from Kazipet. So Chaya, thanks for your question. You did not send me your address. So if you're watching this video, please WhatsApp me your complete address because you've won yourself a goodie actually. It's a wireless mouse from uh, Arctic Fox. So enjoy your gift. So Chaya, first of all, you need to be clear about what you're asking because drug trafficking is something which is done on a very large scale, whereas drug peddling, which is street drug peddling, which is done by street vendors in small quantities. So you need to be very much clear because there's a huge difference between drug trafficking and drug peddling. Like I told you, drug trafficking is done on a much larger scale by OCGs. This is nothing but your organized crime groups. So this is done by drug lords. Yeah. So one such example is of Pablo Escobar, who was involved in a Mexican drug cartel. In fact, he was the boss of a drug cartel. And there's a documentary, I think Narcos is the name of the documentary, or Dirty Money is the name of the documentary. So you can Google and watch the documentary. It is very informative. So how do you identify drug trafficking? Like I told you, drug trafficking is something which is done on a much larger scale by organized crime groups. But then when you receive an alert, the reason being multiple wires being made to third parties based overseas, multiple jurisdictions involved, and specifically the jurisdictions which are more prone to drug trafficking or money laundering. So that is when you go back to your basic and check the reason for the account opening. And if it is just mentioned that the account was open to for general banking services for savings and other activities, and whereas when you actually review the account, you see that there are wires made to various jurisdictions, and the turnover especially has increased a lot compared to what was detailed in the account opening document. So these are certain red flags you need to keep in mind. And then what is the source of the funds. You see that there are a lot of cash being paid in funds coming from various individuals based overseas. So source is definitely which you need to look out for, and how the money is being utilized, and a combination of all these. And if the pieces of the puzzle do not fit together, then obviously you know what to do. Go ahead and file a SOR on the customer. Now, before you file a SOR, obviously I suggest that you go through the procedures given by your bank, and also exhaust all the revenues before using the option of request for information, wherein you go back to the branch and ask for information, wherein the branch could also call the customer and get information. And if you receive a satisfactory response which fits in with the KYC of the customer and the transactions notice, then of course you do not have any concerns. But if the answers given by the customer do not fit, or they are not satisfactory with the account activity and the KYC of the customer, then obviously you know what to do. So before we move on to the second part of the question, I just wanted to let you know that I've got a bunch of goodies for people who ping me on WhatsApp with interesting questions they have, or any kind of information which is pretty interesting which I could share on the video. So you will be rewarded with a goodie. So you can put your question and also mention your complete address so that I can send the gift through. Yeah, and also wanted to say that please refer aspiring candidates to join courses in shagunawada.in, where you have basic plus advanced courses. And if your recommended candidate enrolls for a course, then we'll be giving out a cash prize to you as well. So yeah. So let us move on to the next part of the question. Like I told you, drug peddling is generally done on a very small scale. So if at all the account is alerted for multiple cash deposits being made via ATMs, and especially during late hours of the night or early hours in the morning, in areas or ATMs which are more prone to drug peddling, such as bars and restaurants, pubs, casinos, or gambling centers, then that is your first red flag. The second red flag is when you see that the amount which is paid in is being immediately withdrawn via the ATMs again, or multiple withdrawals during again late nights and early hours in the morning. So that is your second red flag. Now, why these two red flags are typical to a drug peddler? So the drug peddler, when they are selling the drugs, obviously they sell drugs on only through cash. So once they receive a lot of cash, what they do is they just go to the nearest ATM and deposit cash there, because whenever there's a police who approaches that particular individual, so he should not be left with any cash in hand. So that is the tactics the drug peddlers generally use. So that is, these are the things which indicate that yes, there is potentially drug peddling happening in this particular account. So that's it for today. So before we leave, like I said, I am a few followers short of 1000 followers on LinkedIn. So please, whoever is not following me, please do follow me on LinkedIn and various other platforms. And yeah, until next time, see you. Goodbye.